So I'm going to do a full breakdown of exactly how I got into this trade, how I got out of this trade, where I put my stop loss for the past week that I hit a $8,900 trade, which is my biggest trade so far. So let's go over it. So first off, I'm trading the S&P 500 futures using ES contracts because my account size is big enough. So if you don't have an account size that's big enough, then you got to go to the MES, which is the micros. So it's only $5 a point versus $50 a point for the ES. So it's a much bigger jump, but it's worth it once you get past 10 contracts because the fees are a lot less on the ES. All right, it looks like we're set up. Took me a second to figure this out. So I trade on Tradovate. That's when I actually enter in, but I use the Thinkorswim app or platform, whatever, to actually look at the charts because I like the Thinkorswim charts better. They look more professional. So that's why I use Thinkorswim for that. And also the margins are way lower on Tradovate. And right now I'm using more than 1 or 2% of my account size per trade to try and scale up faster. So it's more of a medium risk approach, but it's something that I'm okay with doing right now until a certain account size. Okay, so the first thing I do is I go to a bigger time frame. So this is the 1 hour chart. I trade or I enter on the 5-minute chart. So again, this is a trendline key level setup that I take. It's one of 2 setups that I have. So this is what I'll do. So I'll take this right here. I'll draw it across right there. So this is my bigger time frame trend line connection. So the reason I'll do this is because on the 5-minute, it looks like it could have went over the trend line and it's going to use it as support and then push up. But when I go to the 1 hour or the 30-minute, I think the 1 hour is better for this because I'm not sure if the 30-minute fits it all in. But when I go to the 1 hour, it shows a nice clear rejection. So that's what I'll do first. So this all formed the day prior. I believe I took a trade, I think it was this trade right here, and I lost it. Or I lost this one right here. So sometimes it takes 2 tries. So it happened to stay there. Now, when I go to the 5-minute chart, look at that. Look at that. It becomes more clear. This is a structure that's been forming throughout the night in multiple days. This was a Monday. This was Monday, yeah, yep. All right. Wait, hold on. Right, this session, so it pushed up, consolidated, pushed up, and then consolidated for 2 days, 3 days. Yeah, this was Wednesday's trade. So it couldn't get through. Had rejection here, trendline connection through this bigger structure, and then it pushed up here. This was at 7:45 a.m. So I get on the computer at right here, 8:45. 8:45 is when I get on. My trading time is 9 to 11. I want to get on so I can mark levels, or trend lines, or levels. So what I noticed is that it stayed in this area. It didn't push up or down. So it gave me another opportunity. If I didn't take it, then I would have missed this winner. So whichever one I took here, I can go back and check, but it just doesn't matter right now. I lost one of these, and then I took this one, and it won. So I blocked out all this other bullshit here. All I saw was it came up, and I actually adjusted this. I adjusted it because it's not perfect, and it still worked. And it was lower than this one, so it's extra confirmation. So slowly making lower highs. And then once this candle confirmed, and closed. I wait for it to close. Once this candle closed, this is the 9:15 a.m. candle. Okay? So it closed at 9:20. Once it closed, let me zoom in a little more. I set my entry for 0.25 under this wick. So the wick was 6780. So I put it at 6779.75. And then I put my stop above it. It's very simple. So the high was 6781.75. So I put it at 6782. This was a very small stop loss. This is not common. So it was only a 2.25 point stop loss. It's usually anywhere from 6 on average, but it can be as high as 9 or sometimes even 12. So this isn't a common amount of points for a candle setup. And I don't have to wait for a bullish or a bearish candle where it's a wick and then it goes red. I will still take this because I've seen it enough times where it just comes through and breaks. Sure, I could have waited, but this candle might have pushed all the way down and I would have had a much larger stop. So I'm totally okay with just entering, putting my stop, and that's my trade for the day. And then this is where it gets interesting. This is where I don't want to say non-profitable traders and the profitable traders are separated, but I would say the very profitable traders over time have this skill to just walk away from the computer or just block out all the noise, because this is all noise right here. So it pushed down, got rejected hard, came up. I don't see that though. What you have to see is just I entered. It's a pullback. Let's see what happens. That's all you have to think about. So through all this bullshit, I was just sitting and waiting for it to go a direction. Just make up its mind. And I'll even walk away, because whether I sit here or if I don't, it doesn't matter. Then it finally broke. So this was, let's see how long this was. This bullish candle right here. 9:35 a.m. Got in 9:20. So 15 minutes into this trade, right? And then it didn't break this. Didn't really engulf until this red candle right here, 10:20. So I was an hour into the trade. And from here, I was 45 minutes in. So this was 45 minutes right here, all this. So I had the patience, waited, broke, and then this candle confirmed it. And then it kept pushing down. I'll hold my trades. When it's a nice winner, when it has potential for a nice winner, I'm holding it. So I waited. This is 10:45. Came back up, back down. I held it through all of that because I have a bigger target, and I'll explain my target. Here, this is the end of the session, 11:30. Didn't get out. Pushed up, rejected, came back down. Held it through all this bullshit. Wick, all this bullshit. Now, here comes the target. How did I get my target? Okay, so when I zoom back out and I go to the hour, I saw this trend line. This trend line here. Now, this would have been a massive trade. It was not likely, but I'm just setting the target and I'm just letting the trade do its thing, because there's just more momentum to the downside. So I'm okay with just setting a bigger target and just letting the day kind of play out. So what I did was I set it here as a conservative trend line, and I set these key levels right here. So what I do is I pick the key level and then I put it 1 point above, because I want to make sure it hits. So that was my target. It didn't happen, obviously. My first target was this right here. It was 612.50. Yeah, right there. And then I moved it because I wanted to get a bigger move out of it if it was going to continue. So sometimes it doesn't continue, and that's what happened this time, which is fine. So you're probably thinking, look, I held it through all this. 6,697. It got bought all the way back up to 6,730. At that point, when I go to the 5-minute chart, right, let's go back here. Let's look at it again. What do we see here? So a massive wick, right? I'll give you a time frame. So 12:30 is when this wick happened. Could have just got out, massive trade for the day, and that would have been it. It would have been about a 3-hour trade or so. 3 hours and 10 minutes from entry to target. So I held it, but I still saw more momentum from this double top here, push down. So I let all this play out. Then it pushed down again. Still had that bigger target. Thought this was the candle that could potentially confirm more downside push, but got bought back up. Rejected, came down, and then this one. This one was kind of the confirmation where it confirmed, but I didn't get out quite yet because I just wanted the trade to continue. Or not wanted to, I wanted to just be patient and not make a decision based off of panic because I'm up a huge amount on the trade. So I let it do its thing for a little bit longer. And once it broke this trend line, so I drew a trend line. It was something like this. So this right here, it rejected, right? I could move the trend line and it could have rejected. So even if I moved it like this, right? Something like that. Just a downtrend that's been created since it rejected this area, right? Or this area over here. So pushed up, rejected, came down, pushed up again. And then once this candle closed, I moved my stop, or I moved my stop down above this red wick. So I put it at 6720.50 because it was 6720.25 was the top of this wick. So I put it there, and once that hit, it just got me out of the trade. So sure, this candle went red, but then it used the trend line as support and pushed up. So could have got out here, but that's what happens sometimes when you go for a huge target and still got a really big move out of it. So that's the breakdown of how that trade went. And if I were to just zoom out again and go to the 1-hour chart, this is a very large trend line with a nice consolidation right here with lower highs on the 5-minute chart. So it had some potential to have a big move to the downside. So this was all this tariff bullshit that was created. And so this is a pretty high quality setup that I took and it won. So here's the breakdown on that, and we'll see when I do another one of these in the future. So